morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And I am still trying to figure out how to get to the screen I'm used to seeing on my computer while I'm doing this. Facebook changed things up last week, and yeah, I'm still struggling with the views. Please do comment and say hello when you join me. Like I said, I'm trying to get to the screen where I can see comments. So frustrating. Let me one more second play here. I can see that I've got a couple people here. I can guess who they are. If you have said hello, I am not seeing it at the moment because, of course not. Yeah, I'll just keep going. I'm sorry. I am really trying here. Facebook. Okay, well, let's go and see what we're doing. So today I'm making a card with the Impressions Abloom bundle. I'm not using any of the Bloom Impressions Designer Series paper on this one, which is gorgeous, but I'm just going to use the stamp set and the coordinating dies today, a couple of each. I used basically all of my thank you cards on my recent trip. I love to hand them out to particularly the airline staff as we're boarding. We get very nice service. And I also hand them out to like really helpful desk clerks at hotels and things like that. So it's nice to have them along while I'm traveling, but I need to restock. So I'm going to use this. It's got a nice thanks sentiment, and I've seen these done in a whole series of colors. I'm just going to make one today. Yeah, so I'm actually going to start. I'm going to cut this oval shape. So a piece of Whisper White, wow, that's a throwback. Basic White, I've had Basic White for several years now. And I've seen several people talking about having trouble getting the plates to go through on their Stampin' Cut and Emboss, the mini one. And the trick I have learned is to offset your plates. So it starts with the top one and then brings the bulk in. And that seems to work very easily. So we'll be working with that shape. And I'll set that aside for now. If I can avoid dumping the plates, that would be good. And we're going to be working in Secret Sea. Ah, there's Sarah. Hello, Sarah. I can see your comment. Let's see if I can see any more comments. shows me that they're one, but it doesn't. Oh, I really am frustrated with that. Oh, there we go. Now I can see lots of them. Hopefully, well, it says 5 comments. How can I see all of them? Jeez. So I can see that Paula and Gladys and Jenny and Sarah are here. If there's anyone else here that I can't see, I'm sorry. So I'm going to work, as the title of the video says, in Secrecy. And I'm going to start by going ahead and stamping my sentiment on this oval. I'm going to bring in my... This is a Stampin' Pierce mat that we sell, and I've just covered it with some grid paper so that when I stamp off the edge of things, I'm not stamping onto my mat. And I'm just going to add that up here. I love that font. It's, I think, elegant, but it's clean. Sometimes our script isn't so easy to read and isn't as pretty as I think it could be. Oh, I guess I'm going to keep using this. So I'm going to bring in this. This is a 2-step stamping set. So we've got a solid and then overlay with the vines. I'm going to see if I can take a moment here and get it. Lined up. And I'm actually going to be stamping off for the first layer. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Let's put that on this side since I am left-handed. Now I'm going to take a moment and figure out which way this goes to be aligned. It's like that. So sometimes when, especially if I'm going to be doing multiples of them or I'm doing a class, I'll just take some Post-it note and where am I going to doesn't really matter which side I do it on. I just want to be kind of consistent about it. There we go. And I'm going to play for just a moment to see how much I want to stamp off to make these flowers. See, and because I have that marker on there, it helps me line it up more easily. Yeah, I think I may stamp off twice. Okay, so now that that's been determined, get my chair in here. One, two, do one there. One, oops, two, and one there. And I'm going to do one on this piece of scrap to cut out. One, two. Okay. That one. That one. And that one. Okay, so now we're finished with the secret C. I like that color a lot, but I'm a blues girl. There's almost no color of blue I don't like. I can't think of one. Okay, now I'm going to come in and do the flower centers. I'm going to do those in Timid Tiger. Both of these are in colors this year. And next, and this also has a two-step, a solid stamp, but I like the white showing through, so that's what we're doing. That's that. And you know what? I think I need a mask. I didn't think about that before. But I think we need one. So I'm going to come back in with the solid stamp. Really doesn't matter what color I use. This is Post-it note. But it is it's almost a reverse Post-it note. The sticky is all over except for this strip, instead of the sticky just being on a strip and the rest of it being plain. And that helps it make a mask. So I'm just going to cut this out pretty quickly here. And you want it to be on or just inside the edge, because when you stamp off the edge of something, you get a white halo where the stamp doesn't make contact, even for something as thin as this. So you don't want any Post-it margin around the image. So and I'll show you why we want the mask in a minute here when I get it finished. I have been working away on a class I'm offering on 4th of October. Actually, it's a one-day Christmas card stamp camp. And people are going to get everything they need to make over, well, I'm saying over 10 cards, but as I've been, it's probably going to be 12 plus. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. And I've been having a lot of fun designing all of those. Again, we got to figure out, I think it's this way. Yeah, and you can see just a little bit of the part that I've stamped, and that is just fine. And I'm going to come in and stamp some leaves, and I'm going to use Old Olive. And you'll see here when I pull this up, the mask makes it look like the leaves are behind the flower, which is very cool. I rotated this one a bit, I think. How did I do it? There we go. Thinking about how this is going to ultimately look. I think that's what I want. I can always come back in and put in another leaf, I think. Okay, so we'll get that mask out of the way, and I think I need 4 of these. There we go. Hi, Christine. Thanks for joining me. Gladys, Secret Sea and Cloud Cover are my favorite in colors. Yes. Yes, although I really like all of them this year. And I really liked all of the new ones that were new last year, too. Although I do think Shy Shamrock and Summer Splash are a little bit close to each other, and Shy Shamrock's a little close to Coastal Cabana, but you know, it's tricky. There's always something. Okay, I'm going to get this out of the way. Let's bring back in some dies and the Baby Boss. Get these cut out. So that one on there, a little bit of Post-it tape. And thankfully this one has 2 dies. One. I felt that move. 2. This time I offset them the other way. The bottom ones are going through first and the top one last. One. We did a fun thing on Saturday. So here in Melbourne, those of you who live here know this, but those of you who don't, probably don't, we're having a new it's not high speed, but it's high capacity, high volume rail line built through the center of Melbourne called the Metro Tunnel. And actually one of the 5 stations is pretty close to our house, and everything is nearing completion. They say it's going to open by the end of this year. There's some doubt about that, but the station near us is almost fully completed, and they did an open house on Saturday, and we got tickets. It was, first come, first serve, sign up for tickets online, and we went, and it was really cool to see. If you know us, we love public transport. We rely on it here, and we love taking it and exploring it every place that we go. So it was really cool to see how the new stations are incorporating some of the stuff we've noticed in our travels as best practices. And so we're excited about that. And we just had a good time with that. Didn't take very long. Didn't get rained on too much, always a good thing. Oh my goodness, we'll take care of that later. Okay, I think we are now ready to assemble this card. So, what are we going to do first? I think first thing we're going to do is go ahead and glue this down. And I know what I didn't stamp, and I'm going to take a moment and do that because I always forget to do that on camera, and then I show you in the blog post, and I don't know what anybody actually sees. So I'm going to bring in this piece. And we will just stamp again. Trying to see what you're seeing, and it's not what I'm seeing, but anyway, I'm sure it will all catch up. Here we go. There's that. Okay, let's see. There we go. So that's going to be for the inside. Let's try again. Okay, so this piece, I went ahead before I got online with you and ran it through the embossed brick 3D embossing folder. So if you've been watching me today with this mini cut and emboss, or the baby boss, know that I use that on my videos when the dies fit, because it's easy in this setup, easier than hauling in the big one. If you do not have one and you are looking to invest in one, get the big one, because so many of the embossing folders and some of the dies will not fit in the small one. And you will be very sad if you have put your money in the small one and can't do what you want to do. So there's the inside. And that's now ready to go. That's going to go on there. And these are going to go the correct direction. On there. And I'm just going to use a little bit of sticky tape. Just dumb old sticky tape. Hold this on. You could use glue dots. You could use tear and tape. For this, I'm perfectly happy using sticky tape here. The one thing is to make sure it's not sticking out past your petals, of course. Just double checking the comments there. So this is going to go on here, kind of like so. And I am going to put a piece of tear and tape on the back here, and I'll show you why. I'm going to stick a bow on the back. This is something I've learned to do recently. This is not terribly coiled, but if it was, I just go like that, and if it's all loopy, I take it, that takes it out. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, I'm picking that up. I'm going to leave a tail. I'm going to make a loop that way. Nope. I'm going to make a loop. Yeah. That way. And a loop this way. I am probably very late to this party. Before I would tie a bow and stick it down back behind there. And I can kind of play. See, I can see that these loops are not the same size. So I can play for a minute here and resize. And I'm sure the more I do it, the better I will become. It's probably a little too much. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals, and that tear and tape can just sit right there, no problem at all. And I'll also help hold it down with my dimensionals. Okay. Little stray mark there. I don't know what that is. I'm just playing for a second. I want to see if I want to add a couple more leaves. And I think maybe I do want another leaf there or there. Trying to be calmer and more thoughtful in this one so that I don't go back and say, oh, I should have. Do I want it there? Do I want it there? There we go. Okay, and I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm just putting dots. Like that. And I wanted to test, since we're getting rid of the, Stampin' Up! Has discontinued the Stampin' Write markers. So I wanted to test this with the bullet point of the blends. And yes, you can do it. It's smidgen maybe bolder. But just a smidge. You can see there. But I did it on the inside so that these would be the same, and that nobody's going to go right next to each other once this is attached. So that would work just fine. Okay. I'm going to put that flat. And this is just a hair above centered top to bottom. I'm trying to get it centered left to right because that flower is going to hang down off. these undone. I will say, I do think the dimensionals and the tear and tape have gotten much easier recently to open up, or to pull the backing off. That's what I'm actually trying to say. Let's turn you up a little bit. Yeah. So there it is. I like that. I do think somebody said it was elegant. And I do like that. Hi, Allison. Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for joining me today. And yeah, I will probably make some of these in other colors, whether they're in colors or just other colors, because it would work in almost anything. But I like that. That's the outside. There's the inside. Thanks for joining me today. Oh, I did want to let you know, hey, today is the day the catalog goes live and our online exclusives. So these are some really cool products. You've seen me do stuff with this Peaceful Garden Suite before, because I had early access to that. But it's definitely getting a lot of play. If you got my newsletter today, you saw I did a card using this Traditions of Christmas. There's a tutorial in my newsletter. If you haven't gotten my newsletter, because you haven't signed up, head over to nancysniftynotes.com. There's a place on the right sidebar where you can click and there will be a pop-up. I know those are annoying, but you can sign up for my newsletter and you will get my most recent one. This is also where you're going to find a blog post for this card. It lists all the supplies. Usually I say it's my very next blog post, but it will actually be the second one after right now. But it'll be under the same title as this video, because tomorrow is a blog hop I'm taking part in, which is also featuring a card using Traditions of Christmas and Branching Out, which is another new set. And if you have any questions at any time, feel free to reach out to me, Nancy at nancysniftynotes.com. I'd be happy to be your demonstrator here in Australia. Happy to help you find one in another market if you need one. Answer crafting questions, take requests, etc. So thanks for joining me. I will be back same time, same place next week with another project. See ya.